Hi, it's Max with UW Car Club, and here's Brad's 2014 Subaru BRZ. One with the classic rally blue. What wheels are these?
These are the Ray's Grandlight 57 Extremes in matte graphite.
We have some Continental Extreme Contact, that's what it is. Extreme Contact tires. Oh, carbon fiber. Is this real carbon fiber?
Yep. Both of these are real carbon fiber.
Oh, that's cool. The tow hook.
Yep.
Of course.
And the hood struts are also wrapped in carbon fiber.
Let's see, so what have you modified again?
Full header stack exhaust, intake, pulleys, dyno tune, and a couple of cosmetic things like the battery tie down and the belt covers, soon to be a strut bar.
Cool. Yeah. Let's take it for a spin. Here we go. We're gonna go for a quick loop around and then talk a little bit about the car. So last time I did one take with Daniel Park in his Hyundai Genesis 2-liter turbo. Compared it a lot to this car, so it's only fitting that we get a test drive this now. Let's get a good feel for the exhaust note first. Definitely has that burble, you can tell. So Brad, what have you done with your BRZ here?
Like you said, it has a full aftermarket headers back exhaust. It is catless and with UEL headers, so you get that Subaru rumble. It has an intake. It's been tuned. It has light crank pulleys, BC coilovers, wheels, tires, and then just some cosmetic stuff like taillights and a couple of interior things. Yeah.
The coolest thing is, like I said, a lot of aftermarket support, a lot of local support.
Yeah.
Gotta love the forums.
Yeah.
But so you've only had it for a year, so yeah, I'm assuming you haven't had any single problem yet.
No problems. The worst thing was I did an oil change and there was a bad batch of filters going around, and the first drive after the change I sprayed oil all over my engine bay.
Oh,
but I guess that's not too bad compared to what could happen. Yeah, there's the mud flaps dragging.
And so, given Seattle's ever-increasing traffic problem, coupled with the weather, you chose to go with an automatic, right?
I did. There were a bunch of reasons that I kind of tore myself up thinking about which one to go with, and I finally gotten over all the stuff, like all the crap I get from other people, and like it's another case of you gotta drive it to like see why, because it's easily the best auto I've ever driven, and obviously it's not as fun as the manual, but supposedly it's faster around a track and it's just more practical for a daily.
I like the practicality argument.
Yeah. Nothing else about this car is practical, but the transmission is.
If you know you're going to be in stop and go traffic all day, it's definitely a strong sell to get an automatic.
Yeah.
So no, this is a judgment-free zone here. And you mentioned you're from Oregon, so you got this tuned at a local Oregon tuner, correct?
Yeah, I was at a place called FTW Tuning. They're based in Eugene, and they specialize in Subarus and Evos, and they've tuned pretty much all the super nice cars in the area. They've done a couple GTRs, Mark IV Supra that produces like 950 at the wheels, and they're a good local tuning shop. I think though, now that I'm up here, I'm going to start going to the drift office.
Okay.
In Auburn, I believe. I don't know if you know them. They seem to be, they're big.
They're pretty well known around here.
Yeah, and they do a lot of stuff with the 86 platform.
You know, and that's a really cool thing about this sort of category of, you know, entry-level performance cars. There's a ton of support here, not just the aftermarket parts, but
acknowledgments on the road from them than I do FRS guys. Like, Subaru guys love this car, even though it's not four-wheel drive and turbo and whatever.
Yeah, so what was the selling factor to you choosing the BRZ over the FRS?
It was really, I was looking at a bunch of cars, including GTI, Mustang, used 328i, stuff like that. And I test drove all of them, and the last one was a BRZ. And I went to the dealer, and he said basically just go out, because I was with my mom, and he's like, I don't want to get in the back seat because obviously there's no room at all, or just for insurance. So just go out, take it for an hour and a half or so, and just find some backcountry roads and really see its potential. And that's what got me to fall in love with it. It was because no one's gonna love this car in a straight line or just like driving around the city. You really have to give it some gas and go around some corners at pretty high speeds, and it just corners so well that I instantly fell in love with it.
You know, and I've been fortunate enough to test drive a lot of those entry-level performance cars. I loved the 2-liter turbo EcoBoost on the Mustang. I just did the 2-liter turbo Hyundai Genesis a few weeks back.
Yep.
Really cool cars. Gotta say, I love the NA though. I feel like it's a lot more responsive. The steering on this is much better than I was expecting too. It's not so tight, but it's very responsive. The throttle response is awesome. I love that about this car too. It's just really well put together. I mean, there's a reason why this car is so divisive actually online. Most people are either super for it, you know, whether it's, you know, actually daddy's first sports car, or I think it's more of a young person's car.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why it seems to be the #1 bestseller with, you know, those sort of target markets. And I think it's a great car.
Yeah.
Even if it you know, doesn't have as much power as people like straight out of the factory, it's a great platform to build on.
Yeah, that's like, people always complain, oh, it only has 200 horsepower, oh, it's not that fast and straight line, and it's one of those cars that you don't buy and keep it stock. Like, it's made to be tuned on, so it doesn't matter what the factory specs are. You make it however fast you want, you make it corner however well you want, and I just think it's a really good platform to work on. Because like the FA20 platform it's a new engine, like a new block, which just has tons of potential, and there's plenty of aftermarket parts for it and stuff being developed every day.
So speaking of factory specs, you had a chance to dyno this, correct?
Yes.
What's your power at now?
It's making 207 at the wheels and 175 torque, I believe.
Oh, that's a pretty big jump.
Yeah, it did a lot with the tune and the exhaust and stuff. The exhaust is probably the most that really opened it up, because the stock exhaust is super restrictive and absolutely silent. So I took out 2 resonators, 2 cats, and I made the huge muffler about maybe half its size. So it breathes a lot better now, and there's a good power jump, and then the intake and all that. So it's pretty good as of now, but eventually I am going to supercharge it.
Oh, so you already decided to supercharge over turbo?
A bunch of people are saying turbo. I just think that's kind of like, I really like turbos, but I think a supercharger would be better in this car, and especially like with this transmission and stuff, there's no lag, and I just think it would be a better choice.
Speaking of the tune, how did your fuel efficiency change afterwards?
It's not great. I'm getting an average of about 23 miles per gallon when the average combined from the factory is supposed to be 28, even though it never was. It was probably like 25 before. So it's not great, and it takes premium, which is kind of gets expensive, but it's definitely worth it. I'm very glad I did the tune and all the stuff I've done with it.
It's good.
It has a tiny fuel tank though. It's like 11.2 gallons or something weird like that. So I fill up a lot.
On the way.
Yeah. I can just barely make it from Seattle to my house, or from Utah to my house.
So before we wrap up here, what don't you like about this car? Or I guess a word of warning to anybody who's considering buying it.
Anyone who's going to be transferring people with more than 2 people, if they don't have legs, that's fine. If they're a normal person, you can't really do it. You You could fit one person kind of sideways in the back there, but that's about it. The trunk isn't too big, but it is big enough to fit 4 extra tires.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there are a couple things like that Subaru specifically made. Because, like, it's so obviously made to be a track car and a tuning project. They made, like, the stock exhaust tips are these tiny things, but the cutouts are a lot bigger because they knew you were going to throw big tips in there and stuff. And these little bumps in the headliner are to give you more room for a helmet.
Yeah.
And then you can put 4 tires in the back. And supposedly they made the little ridges on the hood so you can apex better and you can really feel exactly where your front tires are.
I didn't hear that one before.
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't know entirely if it's true, but it works. Like, it's definitely, because that's right above where the middle of your tires are, so you can apex really well. Other than that, there's not much else I really don't like about it.
Well, this has been a great experience here. Thanks for letting me drive your car.
Yeah, thank you.
It's awesome. And even with the automatic, it's a really fun car to throw around in the corners. We'll finish up with a little hairpin up here. I want to give it a bit of a shot, but it really is, for a reason, I think, the best-selling car for young people. And I know they had some ridiculous sales goals where I think it was like in the U.S. for every 10 FRSs sold, like for every one BRZ they want to sell 10 FRS.
Yeah, so there are a lot more FRSs on the market, which makes sense. They're not a substantial amount. They're a couple grand cheaper. But I chose the BRZ just because it has, especially the interior is a lot nicer. It has a leather and Alcantara seats than the Nav unit, and it has just more, I wouldn't say luxury things, but more like everyday things that you like.
Creature comforts.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, I figured it was worth the extra money to get the BRZ.
And I think the only other aesthetic thing that's different is like the bumper bars and the grill.
Yeah, the grill's a little different. The side vents are a tiny bit, I guess the fake vents, which I've replaced because I hated having fake vents on them. They look pretty much exactly the same on the outside. Also, you can't beat the World Rally Blue color.
Yeah, it really is.
It's so much better in the sun. You'll have to see it, like the pearlescent and the metallic flex and stuff. It's really nice.
Yeah, Subarus always look good in blue. Yeah. Surprised you didn't end up with gold wheels.
Actually, the first ones I looked at were gold, but I decided on these. I liked them a lot better.
You know, I wish Seattle roads were a little better.
Yeah.
There's so much potential with all the curves, but
yeah.
And even if your car's not lowered and it's not on coils, it just beats up your suspension.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here we are again, you know, typical Seattle weather, it's always raining.
Yep.
Something to get used to, you gotta love it. These tires do pretty cool in the rain.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're definitely the best ones I could find for what I wanted, and they're still really good track tires and hold a lot of grip in the dry.
Driving, man.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it, Brad.
Glad you enjoyed it.
It's been Max and Brad